One of the issues that has had a visceral reaction in parts of the country has been coal seam gas development, and that has tended to unite traditional National Party voters with Greens and Labor voters. Kamal Tibbet, how big an issue do you believe that's been in some of the electorates that we'll see this evening?
Oh, it's been a huge issue, no question. Far North Coast, in those seats, it's been a very big factor. Tamworth, it's a factor. There's a lot of concern in the community about coal seam gas and the feeling that it's pushing ahead too quickly without the necessary protections in place.
Interestingly, I get a head nod from you too, Gladys Berejiklian, and you obviously believe the same thing as the Labor Party, that there's a concern in the political class about coal seam gas.
There's no doubt I agree on that point, but I also want to make the point that we came to government, about half the state had coal seam gas licences issued over them, which the Labor Party put in place. We've actually reduced that down to about 13%. So that's an issue, a mess we've actually had to clean up in the last 4 years. So I found Labor's position to be extremely hypocritical on that one.
Look, I know you can't mention this issue and say anything in favour of coal seam gas. It doesn't end in a deluge of complaints to the ABC, I know from bitter experience. But your own chief scientist has said, not everywhere and not in all circumstances, but in some parts of this state, coal seam gas could go ahead, it would not cause damage and it would not go into prime agricultural land. Yet nobody, it seems, in politics is prepared to make an argument for that kind of gas development.
Well, I think we've said that there should be a moratorium until we're confident that all of the recommendations that the chief scientist has made are being implemented. So we certainly haven't said that coal seam gas can never go ahead in any part of the state, but we want to make sure that those requirements set down by the chief scientist are actually implemented.
We would argue they should have done that when they were in government and not issue all those licences, because that's really what's caused the community angst. The community is saying to us, show us the evidence, where is the science? And we think this is a concern and we agree with them. But we came to this state in the last 4 years not having issued a single licence. We inherited all of them from the Labor Party. And so, the fact that they're now campaigning again on this issue is extremely hypocritical. They created the mess. They caused the angst because they didn't do their homework in the first place.
But it does seem like in the electorates that the people and the voters in the electorates aren't hearing that message, because it seems like they are supporting Labor and the Greens. And I think they probably feel, is there a sense that they feel, well, the government did renew some of those licences and that you've been now in for 4 years, and have they put the coal seam gas argument back on the government rather than blaming Labor?
Yeah, I think there is a lack of appreciation as to where the problem started in the first place. And if we argue that if the Labor Party had done their homework in government and actually not been so generous in the first place, that we wouldn't have all this community angst. Because at the end of the day, notwithstanding what the science might say, you also do need to listen to the community, make sure you bring the community with you. And certainly, I think we agree that it's a big issue out there, especially in regional New South Wales.